Chapter 73. The Photograph. Riel and Hyunaki's honeymoon was over, and they're back to reality as husband and wife. It was Monday morning, and the couple was so in love that the mood around them was so romantically intense that they didn't want to be separated. "Why don't you resign and come work with me? We are partners now, you know," Hyun suggested. "Give me time." I am still enjoying my work at the bank's savings counter." Riel smiled sweetly. "I'm getting jealous. All eyes were looking at you adorably, when I should be the only one to be looking at you, day in and day out," Hyun said in an envious tone. "Don't worry, my eyes were fixed. Only for you." Then Riel gripped Hyun's hand as she brought it by her cheeks and stared at him lovingly. Riel came in at the bank and punched her time card. Natalie was surprised to see her. "Is the honeymoon over? It's been weeks since you were gone, friend. Where did you go, and how was it?" Natalie was excitedly curious. "We went to Korea, and it was an exciting and fun experience for me. I realized that Seoul was a fascinating place to visit. Come, I'll show you some pictures from my mobile." And Natalie was so impressed that she dreamed of going there too. It was lunch break when Akio came to see Riel, and she was so happy to see him again. "Could I invite you for lunch at a fancy restaurant, Riel? I have something important to tell you." Riel felt something odd about Akio, so she agreed, curious about what he had to say. Akio brought her to a Japanese restaurant and was waiting for him to open up. "I've repeatedly been coming to the bank to see if you already reported for work, and it was good that I got a hold of you this time." Akio stopped a while as the server served the food, then continued. "I am going home, Riel, to Japan. My projects here were finished." Akio looked glum, and Riel felt stabbed. She could not understand the feeling. "You're leaving? But you have an office here, and how about the subdivision you have developed and the houses you built? Were all of those sold already?" Riel felt like panicking about Akio's statement. Akio stared at Riel sadly, trying to put the right words together, then sighed deeply. "I have no more reason to stay here, since I have accomplished everything that needs to be done. The company will handle the sales and management of the subdivision and my holdings. I have to return home." "Riel, but how about the woman you are interested in, as you said? Are you giving her up, leaving her? Or had she dumped you? Akio? Were you hurting? That's why you're going?" Riel asked Akio without a pause, and Akio could not tell her frankly how he felt for her, that she was the reason for his leaving. He had no more chance of Rieler's love. She had already married Hyunki. Then he said instead, "I have to consider other options once I got home. My dad was thinking of building a grand hotel, though he never told me the location yet, so being an architect and builder, the only son of a businessman developer, I should be by his side to support all his endeavors. I am sorry for leaving on such short notice, Riel. My flight is tonight." Riel got lost in words, and Akio tried his best to control his emotions. Riel must not see his true feelings, so he smiled and teased her. "Once you give birth, I want to be your child's godfather. You know how to reach me, right? We can get in touch once in a while through online. You will do that, right?" Akio hoped for her consent, and happily smiled when Riel nodded agreeably. After lunch, Akio raised his arm, looked at his watch, and said, "I have to bring you back to your bank. Your boss might be wondering why you're late again." Akio hugged Riel and said, "Goodbye, Riel, and take care." Akio led Riel to his Range Rover and wiped his tears quickly. He returned to the driver's seat after helping Riel enter his car. Unknown to Akio and Riel, someone was anxiously stalking on Riel, collecting evidence to put friction between the newlyweds, then creating strife to bring them apart. Showing a picture of Akio hugging Riel in a restaurant will cause a significant conflict between the two. This person devilishly grinned as he hastily sent the images of Akio and Riel during their lunch in a Japanese restaurant to Hyunki from his burner phone. During that time, Hyunki was very busy trying to catch up with the work he had to accomplish since his wedding. His phone kept on ringing, had no time to reply since it was an unknown number. Then pictures of Riel with Akio in it appeared on his mobile. Upon seeing the shots, Hyunki felt antagonized. He called Junie at once, and his blood was rising. The photos of his wife and Akio got on his nerves. "Bring me home, then get Riel. Tell her I'm home because there's an emergency. Got that?" "Yes, sir," Junie replied, mixed with worry and nervousness. Junie arrived at Rieler's bank and told her precisely the words of Hyunki. Riel hastily went to Mrs. Echevarria's office and asked permission to leave. While in the van, Riel was anxious. So she wondered Junie what the emergency was? I couldn't answer you correctly, Mrs. Riel, but Sir Hyuniki seemed upset and angry. Riel leaned at the car seat inside. Noemi, Riel's assistant, was waiting by the main door with the other staff, bowed to her, and then Riel asked, "What's the matter? What happened to your boss?" All in silence, she hurried up to their bedroom. Hyun stood by the balcony when Riel came in, and saw his face. Savi ran angry. "What's the emergency?" Hyun. Riel felt apprehensive as she stared at Hyun-ki's dark face. "Are you cheating on me?" Riel. She got startled. Hyun greeted her with hurtful and accusing words. He approached Riel, grabbed her arms, and shook her rapidly. "Is the love and attention I give you still insufficient, and you still manage to betray me?" Hyun pushed Riel to make her fall onto the bed, while Riel was shocked by his accusation. Hyun took off his clothes and ravished Riel, ripping her clothes. Riel fought him so hard that she could muster her consciousness and strength. She pushed him severely and yelled at Hyun-ki. "What's your problem?" Hyun. Then, he furiously replied, "You are the problem. You are not contented with me, that you have no shame to see Akio Hinode, and both of you are displaying your affection in public." "In public? Riel, how dare you?" Hyun-ki was in tears and angry. Then he continued, "Why are you doing this to me? Why did you marry me if you were in love with Hinode? You're curious how I found out. Here." Hyun-ki threw his mobile at Riel's side. She looked at the images, and she was surprised. She would want to laugh but controlled it, for it may worsen the situation. Then she threw her question, "Are you spying on me?" "Seriously?" Hyun-ki got angrier. "You're throwing my accusation back to me. You're so good, Riel. Now, I look the guilty one, is that it?" He stared at Riel with clenched fists, and this did not escape Riel's attention. Riel answered calmly, "Whoever sent these to you would only want to create a conflict between us, Hyun. Believe me or not, nothing is going on between Akio and me. As I told you before, I repeat this, Akio and I were good friends. He was my first male friend in this town, and he helped me adapt well when I knew no one there. If I had been in love with Akio, we should have never been married in the first place. And this photo capturing us hugging? Friends hug, Hyun, especially when your friend is bidding you goodbye, because Akio is returning home and will never return." Hyun was shocked and embarrassed about his reaction to those photos, and accusing Riel wrongly. Riel stood from the bed and walked away from him, with muffled sobs and sniffles. Hyun made slow steps with heavy feet toward Riel and stopped behind her, standing there with his hands in his pockets and bowed head, looking ashamed. Riel felt Hyun's presence behind her and spoke. "What is happening to us, Hyun? Have you lost your trust in me, that it was so easy for you to believe what comes into your brain, regarding my fidelity or love for you?" Riel turned her back to face Hyun, then asked him, "Were you indeed in love with me, Hyun? Or was your mind dictating that you were in love with me? Maybe you felt intimidated by Hwanchul because he was looking for Mari, and he challenged you, so you thought winning me over him seemed like you won your trophy? No one could defeat you regarding love, was it?" Hyun spoke, disagreeing. "You're wrong, Riel. I am sincerely in love with you, and because of my deep love for you, jealousy usually overcomes me. I don't want any man falling for you, and I want you all to myself. I may sound selfish, but it is true. I love you with all my heart and soul. I could not live without you, Riel." Then, she added, "Because of your jealousy, you could only break us apart and lose your trust in me. Trust is the basic foundation of our love, our marriage. Where else is this marriage going, if you cannot trust me?" Riel looked at Hyun straight until their eyes locked. Will this mysterious person succeed in creating strife between Hyun-ki and Riel? Keep following the exciting episodes in the Windows of the Heart series. More are coming.